in this track big data. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Feliks Surbakti. I was the first author for this article proceedings, and together with my colleagues Natalia and my students Kezia, we conduct this research. We are from Industrial Engineering Department from Atmajaya Catholic University of Indonesia. The title of our research is Explorations of Data Scientists' Current Expertise and Qualification Gap in Indonesia, Case Study in Jakarta Metropolitan Area. Okay. Sorry. Okay. The outline of the presentation is divided into 4 parts. First, I will explain about the research background in introduction section, and second, I will explain about the research methods following the results and discussions, and at the end, I will telling you about the conclusion of this research. The research background is in this era, in this Industry 4.0 era, data is the most important asset for the company, and value realization from data is a must for organizations to survive in this era. As we can see from the first day, from the first keynote speakers that explained about the seaport in Singapore, he also mentioned that big data is a must to manage or to predict future for the seaport in Singapore. So I think it's, data is very important for today. And according to U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics 2018, it is predicted that 11.5 million data scientist professions are needed in 2026. And there is an article and from Harvard Business Review, it's the notorious and well-known article that said that data scientist is the sexiest job of the 21st century. So what happened here in Indonesia? The main problem is Indonesia is late in anticipating the need for data scientists. I think it's also quite similar with another developing countries that we are 1, 2, or 3 steps behind the developed country like US or European country. So next, I would like to explain a brief history of data scientists. In 1962, John W. Tukey wrote the article that called The Future of Data Analysis. In that article, he explained that there is a new type of data analysis that focused on science rather than methodology. And after around 30 years, in 1996, there's a conference on data science, classifications, and related method by International Federation of Classification Societies. In 2005, the term of data scientist firstly introduced in literature with title Long-Lived Digital Data Collections, Enabling Research and Education in 21st Century by National Science Board. In 2007, Research Center on Data Science established in Shanghai, China, and 2009, an article, Rise of the Data Scientist by Wan-Chen Wu, explained the importance of data scientists as a profession. So, first, according to Harris, Murphy, and Weissman 2013, there are 4 types of data scientists. First is data business people, data creatives, data developers, and data researcher. Another journal said data scientist skills by Zakaria and Folgaris 2018 can be divided into model building, planning, problem solving, learning paths, adaptability, teamwork, research skills, flexibility, detail to attention, and reporting. There are 7 steps in data science process. First is data preparations, data explorations, data presentation, data discovery, data learning, creating a data product, and last, insight, deliverance, and visualizations. Okay, now I will describe about the problem formulation. The problem formulations is divided into three. Is there any skill set that considered important as data scientist? And what are the current skill sets and data scientist qualifications in Indonesia today, currently? And how is the gap between data scientist actual qualifications in Indonesia with qualifications needed by data scientists in general? We have 4 research objectives. First is to understand skill set that data scientists needed, to identify actual conditions of data scientist qualification in Indonesia. Third, to identify factors of qualifications that data scientists needed. And fourth, to identify gap of actual qualifications with the importance level of qualifications that needed in Indonesia. The research limitations is we make a requirement for our respondents, for qualitative respondents, they should have 3 years minimum working experience as a data scientist. And for the quantitative research method respondents, the criteria is 1 year minimum working experience as data scientist. And the research is only conducted on data scientists in Indonesia, especially in Jakarta. About the research methods, using exploratory sequential mixed method. It is a mixed method approach that combines qualitative and quantitative approach. In qualitative approach, we gather data by using semi-structured interview, and the output from interview was used as a attribute in questionnaire, and we developed questionnaire based on the result from interview, and we analyze the questionnaire using statistics and interpret the result, and it becomes the result and discussion of this result. Regarding to sample size, we're using purposive sampling technique method, and according to Guest, Barnes, and Johnson 2006, for qualitative approach, the minimum respondents are 15 respondents of sample. And according to Hare et al. 1995, for the quantitative approach, the number of respondents is equal to the number of indicators multiplied by 5. So in this research, we have 15 respondents for qualitative research and 65 respondents for quantitative approach. This is the interview guidelines. The interview protocols, we divided into 4 main parts. We asked at the first part, an introduction part, about the job position of our respondents. And the second part, we asked about the organizations. The third part, we asked about the skills needed. And at the last part, we asked about the obstacles and what's the training needed for them. This is the demographic data of our respondents regarding to job positions or the title. 60% or most of them are data scientists, and the others are as an advisory team in the organization, as a commissioner, as a data scientist manager, as a data scientist assistant manager, senior data scientist, and customer-facing data scientist. The term is come from the organizations. And next, about the organizations type, mostly come from technology organizations, to 34%, and following by startup organizations, financial consultant, and insurance company. Okay, for the quantitative analysis, we're using exploratory factor analysis. We're using Kaiser, Meyer, Olkin measure, and Bartlett test to see whether the indicator was valid or not. So according to literature, if KMO value larger than 0.5, it means that the indicator can be used or valid. And according to literature again, we can see better value here, significance below 0.5, it means the indicator was valid. And we also using measures of sampling adequacy or MSA value, and the value also more than 0.5. That means it's a visible indicators. We also see the anti-image correlation and total variance explained. And from this table, we give notice to initial value total of eigenvalues, that if it's larger than 1, it will be form of factors. Okay. Sorry, sometimes I delay to change my slide. Okay, now we also using rotate component matrix, and we using principal component analysis for extraction method and varimax with Kaiser normalization for regression method to classify or to group indicators into factors or components here. We're using SPSS version 26 as a tools to help us processing the data. And the component correlation value is larger than 0.5. So it means grouping meet the criteria. There are 4 components that form from this data processing. Okay, we also using Cronbach-Alpha test to check the reliability of the questionnaires, and from the result here we can see the Cronbach-Alpha is 0.739, is more than 0.6, which means all indicators results are reliable. In terms of gap analysis, we're using this formula to measure relative competence. The formulation is equal to competence divided by importance. And in terms of how to measure the gap, the gap is measured by we calculate the actual qualifications minus the qualification importance. We're using August 2001 as the criteria to evaluate the gap. So according to August 2001, the gap can be divided into 3 classifications. First, negative, second, adjustment margin, and third, positive, according to the gap value. For example, negative, the indicator fall in negative classification if the gap value is less or below minus 0.51 and so on. So this is the result. The table shows the result of the qualifications indicators. We can see here there is the value of gap, and as we can see here at the last column, the type of gap, all of indicators get in or fall into the AM or adjustment margin type. What is the adjustment margin type? Says that if the indicators come to or get in or fall in adjustment margin, indicate that training required for that qualifications or indicators. So according to our result, all of indicators go to the type of adjustment margin type. And data science factors can be grouped into 4 factors. First, we call it the main qualifications. It contains of some indicators, 7 indicators: statistic skills, communication skills, mathematics skills, programming skills, project scheduling, problem solving, and business skills. The second factor, we name it data management. It contains 3 indicators: data access, training related data, and database explorations. The third factors are personal skills. It contains 2 indicators: flexibility and business skills. And the last is sources. It's about open data source. Sorry for the delay. Problem to move to the next slide. Okay. I also put the gap score into the line chart, and from this chart we can easily see that the most gap is related to the training related data indicators. The second largest gap is open data source, access, and so on. Okay, we have arrived at the last slide, the conclusions. First, there are 4 qualification factors for data scientists in Indonesia that obtained from our exploratory factor method that we use. The 4 factors are, we name it main qualification, data management, personal skills, and source. In main qualifications, there are some indicators which are problem solving, statistics, mathematics, computer skills, business skills, communication skills, project scheduling skills. And the third conclusion is the value of current expertise in the gap analysis method shows that the average value of the 30 indicators has a fairly high range of values. This value shows that the actual condition of data scientists in Indonesia are equivalent, and there are no significant difference. It means that they are fall in same type, which is adjustment margin. And the gap analysis method shows that all research indicators have an adjustment margin type. So it is necessary to provide.
Hello. Hello. The time is limited. So what is your final conclusions in last 10 seconds?
Yeah, this is the last slide.
Okay.
Presentations, and the fourth conclusion is, I repeat again, the gap analysis method shows that all research indicators have an adjustment margin type, and so it is necessary to provide training for data scientists. But the training is not urgent because they fall in adjustment margin, not in a negative classifications. Okay, thank you. That's all.
Okay, thank you for your presentation. So then we are open to the floor. So if there is any questions for the presenter. Okay, so in view of we do not have questions, and due to the time limitation, then perhaps I just give one questions, okay, to Feliks. All right, so may I know that since you mentioned that some trainings are required, okay, to bridge the gaps of the current expertise and the qualification of data scientists in Indonesia, so may I know that any suggestions of the trainings? Or is there any kind of, the programs that launched by government so that after you're taking some trainings and then you can upgrade your qualifications? Is there any such initiative that in Indonesia? Maybe you can share with us.
Yeah. Thank you for the questions, for the very good questions, Dr. C. In Indonesia, government actually has established some trainings for undergraduate students. related to data science, big data, IoT, and artificial intelligence, and so on. So yeah, government have taken some actions. And from the data from our respondents, while they're working as a data scientist, they're also still learning about data scientists, and mostly of them using free training from Coursera or similar like that. They practice individually, and according to our respondents, it helps them much to understand better about their job. I think that's all, Dr. C.
Yeah, I see. Thank you for sharing. It's good to know that. How about Dr. Wang? Do you have any question? So I guess there's. Hi, Dr. Wang. Yeah, just in case if you have any questions for the presenter.
Yeah. Hello. I really like your topic. It's very interesting. And for your like a conclusion, you mentioned the training. I think the training might be the dominant factor. Could you please describe it in more detail?
Yeah, related to training. First, training is one represented as one as indicators that we find from our respondents, because all of our respondents still needed training related to the skills that they feel they still need to improve the skills, and that's the first part of the training. And the second part related to training, according to our literature from August 2001, if the indicators fall in adjustment margin type of classifications, it means that indicators should be conduct training, because it described that indicators still lack of understanding, or lack of still need to improve by our respondents. I think that's the answer of Dr. Petty Wang.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so thank you everyone. So perhaps we can move to the second presenter of the day. So let us welcome Dr. or Ms. or Mr. Chin Hui Lia on the topic of applying data mining technique to improve the precision of predicting patients' ultrasound scan time. Okay, so I will pass the sessions to you.
Can you hear my voice?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Okay. Good morning, ladies. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ting Yu Long. I'm the master from CYCU. Thanks for ICISETIM giving me this chance to share my thesis. Today, I'm going to talk about applying data mining techniques to improve the precision of predicting patients' ultrasound scan time. This is my outline. I'm going to talk about this study based on these measures. Because patients' ultrasound scan time are fluctuating due to different expansion patients' age, and radiological techniques seniority. Thereby, it leads to difficulty of predicting patients' ultrasound scan time precisely. This study predicts patients' ultrasound scan time. It will help hospitals to schedule precisely. Here are two theses talk about the patient's ultrasound scan time. First one, applying data mining to classify patient's scan time, and the accuracy is around 65%. The second one is applying data mining to predict examination time for patients, and the accuracy is around 58%. We can show that these two theaters accuracy both are under 17%. It still has a long way to go. If we learn more about the ultrasound scan data, we'll know that it has many categorical variables in the data. So the ultrasound scan data will affect the performance of models because of the categorical variables like expansion positions, radiology, gender, and so on. This study's purpose is to improve the precision of predicting patients' ultrasound scan time by variable selection and categorical variable transformation, include 8 statistical variables, extra key features, and automated storing in label encoding. This is the study procedures. This study collects the data for 3 years from the Case Radiology Center to prevent models' performance affected by missing data. Need to do some data preprocessing. After that, this study used 3 methods to improve the precision of models. Look at the method 1 first. This study interviewed with radiology experts to find out which variable will affect patients' scan time more, and calculate some statistic. After that, for those categorical variables, this study used one-hot encoding and label encoding to transform. Then use these 3 models to predict patients' ultrasound scan time. As for method 2, this study tried to find out the meaningful variable. And same with method 1, use one-hot and label encoding to transform the categorical variables, and use these 3 models to predict patients' scan time. The last one is method 3. At this method, this study focused on categorical variables transformation. When finished the transformation, also put it into these 3 models to predict patients' scan time. At the end, this study will evaluate those models' position in these 3 methods. After data preprocessing, the number of clean data is 18,035. This table shows the variable in ultrasound scan dataset. Those have 10 independent variables, and 7 of them are categorical variables. 3 of them are numerical variables. The last one is the dependent variables in this study. That is ultrasound scan time, which this study is going to predict, and the unit of time is second. To remove the outlier of ultrasound scan time, the study calculates its 3 standard deviations and delete the data which beyond the 3 standard deviations. After remove the outlier data, the number of the data is 17,772. After the data preprocessing, first it is method 1. Interview with experts to find out which variable in the data will affect patients' scan time. Experts thought that expansion position will affect patients' scan time the most. So this study focused on expansion positions in method 1 by statistical analysis, and used one-hot encoding and label encoding to transform the categorical variables. According to experts' opinion, this study divided 23 expansion positions into 11 groups and calculate statistics for ultrasound scan number. For example, here has 5 patients' data. First patient's expansion position is kidney. Kidney's group's mean of ultrasound scan number is 33.81. Third, first 3 patients' expansion position are kidney. They are in the same group, so their group statistic is the same. And the last 2 patients' expansion position in the same group, so their group statistic is the same too. So if they are in the same group, their group statistics are the same, but the individual statistic is different. So in the method 1, this study has 20 independent variables. After deciding the independent variables, this study used one-hot and label encoding to transform the categorical variable. For the one-hot encoding, it transforms categorical variable by 1 or 0. For the label encoding, it transforms categorical variable by numbers. At the method 2, this study tried to find out the key features from original variables. The second step is same with method 1. Use one-hot encoding and label encoding to transform the categorical variables. For example, this study found out a key feature is ultrasound scan time divided by the ultrasound scan number. It will be the average time per image. There have 5 patients in this table. Their expansion position is the same, but their number of ultrasound scans are different. So the average time per image is different too. So in the method 2, this study has 11 independent variables. The last method is method 3. The first way in method 3 is storing all the categorical variables by its average ultrasound scan time in ascending order. For example, average time of X is shortest, so it will be labeled to 1, and the last one is I, because its average time is longest. And the second way in method 3 is by descending order, so I will be labeled to 1, and the last one is X. When finished these 3 methods and put it into the models, this study divides data into 70% training dataset and 30% testing dataset. And we also use 10-flow cross-validation to evaluate model's precision. 10-flow means the whole data randomly divided into 10 parts. 9 parts used for training the model and the 1 part used for testing. Iterated 10 times, and every time the error is calculated. The last part of this study used MAP to evaluate model's precision, that is method-wise result. The originally MAP is around 30% at each model. After add 10 statistical variables, the MAP is still around 30%. And we also can see that models a little bit overfitting right here, so this study will try to revise it in the future. Next is method 2's result. After this study found out the key feature, the MAP are significantly decreased at each models. Random forest is in particular. Decision tree also has a well result. Next is method 3's result. After this study tried 2 different ways to storing the label encoding, the MAP is still around 30%. Although most of models' MAP are decreased a little bit, but nothing like method 2. And the MAP seems to no difference between ascending order and descending order. Here is the table to show that different methods test result. The best result is 1.06%. The MAP of random forest when the study find out the key features and combine with one-hot encoding. The method of add statistical variables and customized storing in label encoding, both effects are not obvious, but this study find out the key feature, average time per image. Models MAP from 33.21% decreased to 1.06%. According to Lewis paper, MAP under 10% is the excellent predict. So this study improved the position of model efficiently. That is all of my report. Thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Leah. So let's open the questions to the floor. Do we have any question on the floor? Okay, so seems like we do not have any questions. So then I have one question. So yeah, hi, Chin Hui. So may I know that how many trees that you use in your random forest settings?
I use 600.
Okay, that is very huge. Okay, so how long that you take for the training time?
Every time about 3 minutes.
For complete the entire training?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, this is a very interesting works. Okay, so any questions from Dr. Wang maybe? Okay, maybe no. All right, so thank you, Chin Hui. It is very interesting works, and I'm happy to hear your sharing here. Okay, so thank you. And then next we move to the third presenters of the day. Okay, Dr. Chia Yu on the topics of applying mathematical programming to solve a case-flexible job shop scheduling problem. Okay, so I will pass the sessions to you, Yu. Sorry for wrong addressing you. Are supposed to be Chia Yu. Okay, so I will pass the sessions to you. Okay, you have 15 minutes to do the presentation as usual, and then 5 minutes for taking up the questions. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Chia Yu. Today, my presentation topic is applying mathematical programming to solve a case of flexible job shop scheduling problems. And my professor is Wan-Chen Wu. Now I'm studying in Chung Christian University. This is the outline at 4 points: problem description, methodology, result, and conclusion. First, I want to talk about what is scheduling. Scheduling is establishing the timing of the use of equipment, facilities, and human activities in an organization. If today, in the factory, there are 2 jobs and 1 machine. Job 1 processing time is 1 period. Job 2 processing time is 2. If I want to finish all of 2 jobs, I will have 2 kinds of scheduling. Scheduling 1, process the job 1 on machine first, then process job 2. Scheduling 2, process the job 2 on machine first, then process job 1. 2 kinds of scheduling I can get completion time is 4. So what is the benefit from the effective scheduling? In the factory, we want to complete all of the job in the scheduling period, use the shortest time. Then we can get more order and make more profit. So minimize the maximum completion time is the goal. In the recent year, semiconductor is very popular, but consider the capacity of the equipment and other resources. Build up a highly optimized production planning and execution can make more efficient service to customer. My problem is flexible job shop. And what is it defined? Flexible means payroll machine. Job shop means job may have different processing routes. In the picture, S means stage, so there are multi-stage. In each stage, there are more than 1 machine, so it is payroll machine. Left-hand side have many jobs. Job 1 have a processing route from stage 1 to stage 2. Job 2 have processing routes from stage 3 to stage 4. Different job have different routes, so it is job shop. The whole machine environment, we will call it flexible job shop. After literature review, I organized this table. It involves 4 columns, and I will emphasize on how they define their problem statement. I find out that some of the scheduling paper were adopting the common 3-field notation from Grant 1979. The first field is to represent the machine environment in each machine center. Second field describes the job characteristics. And third field refers to the optimal criteria under consideration. In this study, first field is job shop with parallel machine. Second field, S means number of stage. M means number of machine. P means processing time in stage. Because job at the same stage have identical processing time as found in semiconductor manufacturing. No preemption means once job being started, no disruption is allowed. The third here define my optimal solution is minimize the max spend. The research flow is from define a problem to collecting the factory data, then formulate a mathematical model, use the software to verify the result. If the result is validated, I will do analysis according results. I've used the mathematical programming method to build up a model. There are some of settings. The color indicates what is the set of stage, machine, and job meaning. The parameters consist of the number of scheduling period time and the stage process time. Q means relationship between job and machine in the stage. And the decision variables in the model, I define X and Y as binary. S and F are the job at stage start time and finish time. Finally, my research goal is to minimize the Cmax. All of the decision variables I define then as integer, so the model will seem as an integer programming problem. This study's goal is to obtain the minimized completion time in the scheduling period. Then I can consider some mathematical constraint in my construction. Each constraint has their own physical meaning, such as constraint 2 indicate machine at the time can process at most one stage. Constraint 3 ensure that the job at each stage cannot be processed on more than one machine. 4 and 5 determine the Cmax, and constraint 6 determine the job at stage start time and completion time. Constraint 8 make sure each job has their own doubts. The job cannot be started until preceding job is completed. Constraint 9 indicate job at each stage will dispatch into at least one machine. And it is sum of the job and machine compatibility or a variable constraint. So I can write all of the settings and constraints into IBM iLog C+ software. Then I can obtain the result. This research goal Cmax I name as its Z. So 11 is the minimized completion time, and X can use to see the scheduling Gantt chart. I can obtain the optimal solution with objective 11, and the spending time is 10 seconds. The whole mathematical programming flow is I have some data and parameters in Excel first. Then iLog will read the data from Excel and searching for optimal solution. I will put the result into TXT file. Then C programming will read TXT file and create a new Excel involves the scheduling Gantt chart. And I have some experience from case before. The case company manufacturing system is similar with semiconductor manufacturing. There are many kinds of partner. Each of them have different frequency or oscillation mode and have their own processing doubts, such as downstairs. In the factory, there are multi-stage called FT or FT1. Each of stage at several machines and goal of the case is using the shortest time to complete all jobs. So I will use two small size examples to show you. First, example have 5 jobs, 3 stage and 3 machine. The processing time in stage 1 spend 1 period, stage 2 spend 3, and stage 3 spend 2. The route of the job is as follows. Each job have their own route and the job needs to complete all of process. Following the flow I have mentioned before, use IBM iLog C+ software to obtain solution with objective CMS is 9. Then I can get a scheduling Gantt chart in Excel and use VBA to change color for make a distinction between different jobs. The Gantt chart can verify the model is feasible or not, such as job 1 completed 3 stage and following the sequence from lots of job. Then the example I will run 5 times using iLog for analyze, optimal solution, and CPU time. The next example use the same size of job, machine, and stage, but the stage processing time changed to stage 1 spend 5, stage 2 spend 3, stage 3 spend 4. I still can get the feasible solution with optimal CMax is 20. Then I use iLog run 5 times for another analyze optimal solution and CPU time. The conclusion, this study constructs the corresponding mathematical scheduling model using mathematical programming, then use the IBM iLog C+ software to obtain an optimal schedule for the case company. The results show that the process methodology can obtain the optimal schedule within responsible solution time. Then I will test more large size problem sets or case data to test in order to verify the model. Thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your presentation. So then we will open the questions to the floor. Okay, seems like no questions. So then I have one question for you. All right, so may I know in your current schedule, how many jobs that they can take into consideration? I mean, how many jobs that you can process like one time as an input?
If it is the single machine, and then you just can put one job into the machine, and other job need to wait for the first feeder job is finished. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So how about Dr. Wang? Do you have any questions for Chia Yu?
No, thank you. Thank you for your presentation.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Chia Yu. Very interesting works. Okay, so now we move to the fourth presenter of the day. Okay. Also led by Dr. Chin Hui Lai, applying random forest and time series to forecast the hospital's pharmacy drug consumption. So I will pass the sessions to the fourth presenter.
Can you hear my voice?
Oh, hi. Yes, we can hear you. So Wan-Chen, you will be presenting for this paper, yeah?
Hello, everybody. My name is Wan-Chen Wu. I'm a master student from CYCU. Today, I will present our research is applying random forest and time series to forecast the hospital pharmacy drug consumption. Today's outline is problem description, research purpose and methodology, resource conclusion, and future research. The problem descriptions, this diagram shows our outpatient care procedures. First, the patients make an appointment, then the hospital retrieves the patient's medical record. After the patient sees the doctor, the patients go to the pharmacy to pick up the drug. Then the hospital drug inventory are updated. They will result into inventory shortage or oversupply. There are thousands of the drug in the hospital pharmacies, and the consumption rate for each drug is different. The optimal inventory management is very important because the hospital currently use 30 times of the daily consumption as the drug inventory. Therefore, many drugs are oversupplied, and the hospital need to reduce the inventory cost. In this case, the hospital need to find a more accurate forecasting method. This study tried to improve the hospital forecasting method. And we will, by using the data mining and analyze the hospital drug consumption of the forecast, the daily consumption of various drugs through the machine learning. The research purposes is create a suitable forecast model by using the patient of the drug consumption. There are two types of the drug consumption patterns. One is a stationary and the other is non-stationary. And this study, we will add weather factors to the non-stationary drug forecast model to discuss the whether it affect model result. This one is the methodology flowchart. The first is the data preprocessing. We use the 2018 to 2019 outpatient drug consumption data. The first data preprocessing have a 3 steps. First is data integration, and second is data cleaning. Third is the data transformation. Then we will try to test the data type, if it's stationary or not. If yes, this study will use the time series to create a forecast model. If no, we will select independence variable and use random forest to create forecast model. And this is discussion and analysis. The data preprocessing drugs are classified into 40 classes by the ATC classification because the external factors added in this case are used the weather factor. The research object of this study is the cardiovascular systems and the respiratory systems. And data cleaning, we will delete the outlier below the lower limit is Q1 minus 1.5 multiplied by IQR, and exceeds the upper bound is Q3 plus 1.5 multiplied by the IQR. And the data transformation is we change the day transform to the week, and the feature normalized to the minus 1.1. This page shows the stationary or not. This study used the 2 kinds of tests, the ADF test and the KPSS test. The results come from comparing both test results, use the following logic. If both test results are the stationary and the both are non-stationary, then we will choose the corresponding drug. If one of them is stationary, then the corresponding drug will be used for future research. This one is cardiovascular systems. And this one is the respiratory systems. This table shows the drug which we choose to focus in this study. The random forest model is for the non-stationary. We added the weather factors and select independence variable with a correlation coefficient greater than 0.7. The first and second independence variable are the hospital data, and the third to the 20th independent variable are the weather factors which we select from the government. And we select independence with a correlation and coefficient. And we divide the data into a 70% as a training set and 30% as a data set. This is an example of the Python code that we use in this research. The random forest tree, we use the 200. The results show experimental group. We are going to divide the persist into the experimental and the control group. This page shows the experimental group result. This next page is the control group. The ENTRT drug MAP is higher than 10% and the CV is higher than 50%. Then we need to find the more data to be able to focus. The other drug is more less than 10%, so it's a higher accurate. And the experimental group, after we add in the weather factor, and the control group, we only have the hospital data, and the same as the ENTRT's MAP is poor than others. So, and the other model results MAP is less than 10%. Then we will do the ANOVA process. Then all of the data is a normal distribution. So we use the ANOVA and then we will analysis and discussion. Analysis result and ANOVA result and analysis. This is the analysis results explaining what are relationship between the drug usage and independence variable. And these drugs are F by list. This is the drug are affected by this factor. They have the 5 drug is p-value is less than 0.005. Then, for example, CREST drug and LIMP2 drug is a large temperature difference. When the large temperature difference, they will increase the drug consumption. And we'll talk about the stationary for the use the time series models. We also divide the data into 2 sets, training data and the testing data. Then find a parameter by determined by the minimized views of the AIC to find the parameter. This one is a Python. It's an example of the Python code that we use in this research. We use training data to find the optimized parameter and then put the testing data into this model. And the result, we only use the quantity and the time and the date and the quantity put in the model. So put in the forecast model. So its MAP is 11 to the 20%. It's a good forecast. But the blue word is we need to find more data to be able to forecast. In this page, the red line shows the boundary for the MAP and the CV should be below 20%. This picture shows us have the 4 probabilities. First one is MAP and CV both below to 20% is a good forecast. The second is MAP below 20% and the CV more than 20%. So we need to more data put in the model. Third is the MAP more than 20%, but the CV is below to 20%. We need to change the model. The last one is both of them are more than 20%. So we need to put more data and change the model to forecast. The conclusion is the time series and random forest models both get a good forecasting result. The multiple factors is the below to the middle is the non-stationary data. They have the hospital data and the weather factors. Then the MAP is below to 5%, but the other one is only below to 10% and more than 10%. So I think if you want to create the drug consumption forecast model, you want to put more other data in models. Adding the weather factor to model results is more good. Future research is there are drugs have the inconsistent result of the 2 tests. So we for the future research can use other data mining method to create a forecast model, and exploring data variable of drug to create a better drug forecast model. And we also can edit the desert factor into the independence variable. Thank you for your listen.
Okay, thank you for your presentation. All right, so we are opening the questions to the floor. So may I know if there is any question for Miss Wan-Chen Wu? Okay, so there are no questions. Then maybe I have 2 questions for Wan-Chen. So the first is that may I know how many times the windows that you consider when you're applying the time series model?
Can you say that again?
Okay, how many window size that you consider when you are using the time series model?
Windows. You say the window size.
Yes, a window size. Because usually in the time series, we have to consider, like, for example, how many history data that you want to consider. Maybe like one past events or 2 past events. So that is what we consider the window size. So therefore, I'm interested to know that in your model, how many window size that you have adopted?
Oh, I only divide the data to the 70% and 30%. 30% to training data and 30% to testing data.
Okay. Okay, maybe my second question is that in reality, okay, maybe in Taiwan, may I know that why the weather factor will affecting the drug consumption also? I mean, your statistics, your experiments show that by considering the weather factors, then you can better predict the consumptions of the drug. Okay, so of course, this is from the statistic view, but I would like to know that maybe like in your country, why do you think that the weather will really affecting that? I mean, is that true?
Oh, because I don't know the weather factor affect the drug consumption, so I try to know.
Oh, okay, okay. So I would suggest that maybe it's also interesting to know, I mean, since the data tell us that by considering the weather, seems like the result is better. So then I think it's also interesting to know that why. I mean, in reality, why? Why weather factors were affecting that? Okay, so that is just, my sharing for your future. Okay, so thank you. Yeah, thank you for your presentation. Okay, very interesting works. Okay. Then we will move on to the second track of the day, track technology and innovation management. Okay, so our fifth presenter of the day will be Dr. Prima Fithri. The paper title is A Review of Technology Commercialization Research, Current Research Trend and Directions for Future Research. Okay, so I will pass the sessions to you, Dr. Prima Fithri.
Thank you, Dr. Sim Yun Oi. Good afternoon, everybody.
I'm sorry, Miss Prima Fithri. Your voice isn't audible.
Hello? Hello?
Okay.
Hello? Is it okay?
Yeah, it is audible.
Okay. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for the time. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Prima Fithri. I'm a doctoral student in Management Department of Economic Faculty in Andalas University. I will share my PowerPoint. Is it okay, committee?
It is okay. You can proceed right away.
Okay. Okay. I will share to you about the title is about a review of technology commercialization research, current research trend and direction for future research. My outline for the presentation is there is an abstract introduction, methodology, result and discussion, conclusion, and future research and acknowledgement. Why the technology commercialization is very important thing now. It's also is currently a popular research topic, especially in Indonesia, because there are so many product of research product that have been not commercialized yet. The present study offers opportunity, especially regarding the critical success factor affecting the technology commercialization. And many universities are having difficulties with this issue, but this is also a moment for them to benefit from innovation and commercialization. And it was found that current research trends come from the USA, UK, and Italy. Many of them use a qualitative approach that focus prominent and also in state university. Okay, from introduction, technology commercialization is very important topic today because the background is because of in Indonesia especially there are so many product of research that had been not commercialized because of some industry that didn't suitable with the result of the product research in university especially. And the importance of technology commercialization. Technology commercialization is about product research and how the invention and become commercialized. And current academic research, there are so many paper that we found that there are so many research about technology commercialization, and we found that there are so many paper that also just discuss about in state university. And today, because we want to know what is the trend research about the technology commercialization, especially, we use the publish or Paris for searching the papers, but the limitation for the publish or Paris because we limited in Scopus area, so it's just we got just 200 journals, and after 200 journals we eliminate that which one is suitable, and there are have a rank the Scopus rank, and we got the 101 journals. There are two parts for analyze that paper. The first part is we search from the publish or Paris, and then the second part we call that the selection stage, where the journals that have been collected are selected manually, and the second stage produces 27 journals for further study. In the third part, an analysis of the selected journals is carried out, including the year of publication of the journal, the research method of that used in journal, and data processing method, quartiles, and research settings. It is in sector, industry, or country of origin, and research universities. And from the result and discussion based on the publication year and research method, we make the limitation also in just 10 years from 2010 until 2021. We got the journal that we from the picture we see that it's every year around 10 papers that discuss about technology commercialization. And from that journal, we also got and we also classify, we got that some of the journal use the method is qualitative methods, not quantitative methods. And then from the quartile, there are so many journals that discuss about technology commercialization in Q1. It means that there are technology commercialization is the good topics, and then and also can be reputed in journal Q1. And for the analysis or unit analysis, we got from that journal, we got that the journal, the papers, some of the papers just discussed in public university, but this less discuss about private university. It is because of in public university there are so many product research that produced by the university, and also there are some the section or the department, the special department that have about focus on the product research. But there are so many university that just have the product but not commercialized. And then for the country, we get that there are so many the technology commercialization in USA. In USA, often discuss about technology commercialization, and in Indonesia is just two papers that discuss about technology commercialization. So the conclusion and future research, it was found that many journal publications on the technology commercialization were carried out in 2019. The research method uses primarily qualitative methods with literature review analysis. There are so many papers that use literature review analysis, not quantitative method. Based on the findings of the 101 selected paper at technology commercialization, it can be concluded that the following leads to suggestion for the future research. This type of paper is mainly in the Q1 quartile with a total 20 researches. Countries that apply technology commercialization a lot are the USA and the UK. Most technology commercialization results involve academic spillover, university industry collaboration, and technology transfer. The desire of universities to produce products capable of penetrating the industry is significant today. Second, identify your research topic clusters relevant for the further studies. From the result, we can know what will we do for the future research. This is the acknowledgement. We would like thank the Industrial Engineering of Engineering Faculty of Universitas Andalas and Andalas University for providing a publication grant for year 2022. Okay, thank you for the time. If there is a question, I will try to answer the question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your presentation. So then we are opening the question to the floor. If there is any question from the audience. Okay, so if that's not, maybe then I have one question. Okay, may I know, okay, since this is about the technology commercialization, so I would like to know that, for example, the university in Indonesia, are they allowed the researcher to sell their research products to the industry?
Okay, I will answer the question. There is a university that have a good product research, then the industry will take the product research is IPB University. The commercialization in IPB University is very good, and we try also to study benchmark of from the IPB University.
Okay, noted. Yeah, great to know that. Yeah, because my university, I'm also currently in the departments, but then we are facing some, obstacles to commercialize the research products, because we found that there are still a big gaps between the research products from the university and also before we selling them to the industry. Yeah, so it's great to have your sharing today. Thank you. Okay.
All
right.
also now that I also have research about what is the factors that make the commercialization in university, not in Sumatra but in Indonesia. What is the factors that the success factors and also the obstacle factors that make the industry don't want to take the product research? Yeah, that's just for your information, Dr. Sin.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. That would be an interesting directions. I'm sure that many universities would like to know that.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. So then now we will be moving into the sixth presenter of today, Dr. Azhar Muhammad Ahmad. And the paper title is Brain Tumor Segmentation Based on MRI Image Article Review. So I will pass the sessions to you.
Sorry, Dr. Wang.
Oh, hi.
Oh, okay. Dr. Rin, we actually skip
skip that one. Okay.
And move on to the presenter.
Okay, noted. Oh, my apology. Okay. All right. So then we will move to the last presenter of the day. So the track is on the industrial design, product design, and the presenter is Dr. Hsueh-Lin Chang. The paper title is Application of Rank, Position, Weight, and Region Approach Method in Overcoming Bottlenecks in Garment Industry. So I will pass the sessions to Dr. Hsueh-Lin.
Thank you. I share the PPT. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, respective section chair, fellow participants of ICISETIM 2022. My name is Hsueh-Lin Chang. I am PhD student at Yuan Kristen University, Taiwan. In this opportunity, I would like to present our research with the title Application of Ranking, Position, Weight, and Region Approach Method in Overcoming Bottlenecks in Garment Industry. And the author for this research are Hsueh-Lin Chang, Rina Siri Tonga, Yeni Janita, Mura Adina, Professor Wan-Chen Wu. In this meeting, our fellow researcher of our team, Rihanna, will also be present here. Introduction. Basic Therapy Satu BTS face a problem regarding the imbalance of the production line of one operation process with one another and resulting in a bottleneck. Figure 1 shows the production process at PTS. The bottleneck problem occurs in the company cause an imbalance in the production line. In this study, the line balance approach can be carried out by applying the ranking, position, weight method and the region approach method. The problem occurs at PTS is the accumulation of goods after they are finished at one workstation, resulting the bottleneck on the production line. Thus, this research was conducted to increase the efficiency of the production line in the workstation at PTS, minimizing bottlenecks at PTS by reducing the number of workstations using the ranking, positional weight method and the region approach method, and reducing the idle time in the PDS. There are two limitations when working on this research. The measurement of production time only on the dominant type of closing product by BDS and the data using in the study are based on measurements made on each work element in the workstation. Research methodology. This slide is the conceptual framework of the study. Observation made where direct observation for the first station to the last station, knowing the daily production schedule target, knowing the data collection on the production result of several workstations, and interviewing workers on the production floor to be more specific. With these interviews, knowing the workstation from the production floor, the workstation in the production process has several elements of work carried out by an operator. Finding and discussing. PDS has a production process to produce finished garments. In the production process that takes place, each workstation has an element of work carried out to produce output. PDS still uses human labor, resulting in different cycle time for each element. In this table 1, we can see the range operator time on worker elements. By getting the cycle time of the worker elements for each station, measurements are taken to test the cycle time data. Uniformity test and the data adequacy test are carried out to find out the data is uniform and the amount of data observed is sufficient. By getting the cycle time of the work elements from each station, measurements are taken to test the cycle time data. The uniformity test is carried out and resulting in the figure below. The calculation of data adequacy test for training work element with a confidence level of 95%. If n action is less than or equal to n, it is stated that the amount of data is sufficient. Whereas if n action is greater than n, it is stated that the amount of data is not sufficient. After knowing that the data used in the sufficient, measurements will be made using the time study method. The first step is to determine the adjustment factor for each worker element. The next step is to do the adjustment factors. In the table 4 and the table 5, we can identify the normal time and the standard time of production at PDS. This data is needed to determine the precedence diagram for PDS. After Knowing the precedence diagram from PDS, which we can see in Figure 1, then we can carry out the design of the assembly line using the RPW method. In the RPW method, the first step that must be done is to sort the operation based on the weight of each existing operation. In this region approach method, the step that must be done is to recreate the precedence diagram by shifting to the right or exciting operations. The leftmost operation is the precedence operation, and the far right process has no follow. The following is the precedence diagram using the region approach method. After the precedence diagram is made and the area is clearly visible, then process of sorting operation is carried out. The following is the recapitulation of operation and the regions using the region approach method. Table 8 shows the water element, a workstation by the regional approach method, where Table 10 shows the recapitulation of ranking position, weight, and the region approach method. Conclusion and follow research. With the ranking positional weight method and the region approach method, we can include the efficiency of the production line at the initial condition of PDS, which is 15.02% after the purpose workstation was modified. The efficiency of the production line become 73.82. The production line efficiency typically minimizing bottlenecks, reducing workstation became 5 workstations, which initially had 7 workstations. The idle time of each station will be reduced. The company in initial conditions on 1,057.83 seconds to 4,027.92 seconds. For future research suggestions, can continue to do production line interviews and surveys and measurements for improvements. Suggestions are given to the company to provide a comfortable place to let the measurement process run without obstacles. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Hsueh-Lin. Yeah, very interesting research. And then we have a number of questions in the chat box. Okay, so the first question, okay, from Dr. Feliks. So Dr. Feliks is asking, why do you choose RPW and RAM method to analyze the line balancing?
Hello, Dr. C. I'm the co-author and also co-researcher of this research with Mr. Huang, and I would like to answer Mr. Alex's question. For question number 1, Why did you choose RPW and RAM method to analyze the line balancing? The RPW can help the researcher in defining the relative position to the others in a descending order through the precedence diagram. In the RPW method, you can set the cycle time and then you can calculate the workstations required for the production line or vice versa. This matter cannot be performed in any other line balance method. So that's why our team research used this method. Then the region approach method can group the work operations into regions to facilitate the sorting based on the priority of work operation time. The work operations that have the largest time are carried out first. And that's the first answer for Dr. Feliks' question. And for question number 2, what is the difference between normal time, standard time, and the average time? Thank you, Dr. Feliks, for the question. We will try to answer this question. The main difference between standard time and normal time is that normal time is the time when work should be done without any delays, while standard time is the time taken by the worker to complete the work with some avoidable delays. Then if we consider the average time is the number of time that needs to be used in making a product with a delay and avoidable condition by taking several sampling measurements, that's the difference between them. And I hope that this could answer Dr. Feliks' question. Sorry. Thank you. Back to Dr. C.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. So I hope that Dr. Feliks' questions has been answered. So feel free to let us know if you have any more clarification. And then we receive another question also, okay, from Dr. Elfani Aragua. So then she mentions that based on your observation and analysis, how much would be the increase in percentage from the existing or current production time using this method?
After implementing this research and we got back to the factory, it was an increase of about 82% to 85% from the existing or current production time using this method. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Rihanna. Very clear clarifications. And then I think there is one more alert raising by Dr. Reumer. So he mentions that in the Westinghouse ratings, consistency has a small values, which is 0.001, while the other factors had almost consistent ratings. And then he mentions that earlier you observe a high time variability in each operation time. So maybe you would like to revisit your Westinghouse ratings. Maybe Dr. Rihanna, do you have any explanations or maybe clarifications?
We did not think about this question before, Dr. C, but this is a very good input for our research team to do, so we can check again the consistency, the Westinghouse ratings, and for further research, we will try to improve the inputs and make a better results in the research. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Rihanna. And thank you also to Dr. Hsueh-Lin for a very interesting works presented for today. So I think at this point, I think we can just wrap up the session. So the day 2, session 1, then we have finished for all the presentation. Okay. So then thank you everyone for presenting your works. And I hope that this is a fruitful sessions for everyone. So maybe Dr. Rio, I will pass the sessions back to you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ian. But actually still have one more thing to do. But first of all, thank you to both of our session chair for great chairing this session. And right now, I think it is the time for our session chair to awarding our great presenters with their certificate. So I will show the certificate of presentations in these sessions on my screen. So Dr. Wang and Dr. Yin can read out their name. So I would like to invite once again our session chair, Dr. Yin and Dr. Wang, to present this certificate for our presenter. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so thank you, and we would like to present the first certificates of presentation to Dr. Feliks. Okay, to Dr. Feliks Prasepta, Sejahtera, Surbakti. So well done, and thank you for joining in ICISETIM 2022. Okay, so then we will next presenting the second certificates of presentation to Ms. Ting Yu Long. Okay, thank you for your presentation and making this session a fruitful one. Okay. So next, then we will present the certificate of presentation to our third presenter, Mr. Chia Yu. Okay, thank you for your presentation. And next, we present to the fourth presenters of the day, Ms. Wan-Chen Wu. Okay, thank you for your presentation. Okay, very interesting. Drug consumption, which is affected by the weather factor. Okay, next then we would like to present our certificate of presentations to Dr. Prima Fithri. Okay, thank you for your presentation. And lastly, we would like to present the certificate of presentations to Dr. Hsueh-Lin Chang. And thank you for your presentation, a very interesting works. Okay, so thank you, Dr. Rio.
Okay, thank you so much once again to both our session chair, Dr. Yin and Dr. Wang, for great sharing these sessions. I hope that all the inputs and suggestions given from our session chair today, I believe it will be a fruitful input for any of our presenters today. So also finally, congratulations to all the presenter that are already presenting their presentations today. I hope that all the inputs can be great suggestions in order to develop your paper even more. And also thank you for all the audiences who actively and participating in giving suggestions, asking questions to make sure that our discussions in this International Conference on Industrial and System Engineering Technology Innovation and Management, ICISETIM, be very great discussions. It is very highly appreciated from me. And now I would like to humbly invite everyone to open up their camera so we can have a group photo session together to cherish this moment together. So I would like invite everyone to activate their camera. Okay, I'm going to take a couple of screenshots. Check. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Once again. Okay, thank you, everyone. So next we move on to our next agenda. It's regarding our post-conference informations, I mean. So as you can see, this is the publication timeline that the author must do in order to get their international journal recommendations for their paper. So the information for the ICISETIM publication opportunity is stated on the website, ICISETIM.com. Please do aware of this timeline table as well as the important dates, whereas you can conference paper being published on the day plus 10 is on May 3rd, 2020. And that the author must do in order to complete the post-conference process recommendation, at least at day 14 after the conference finish. The author who wants to proceed to the publication process must send or upload their final full paper. Of course, after the revisions, maybe put some suggestions that received today. Okay, once again, please pay attention. Day plus 14, author can send the full paper to the ScholarVen account under the menu upload or send email to info@ICISETIM.com. So this is the ScholarVen dashboard where you can upload your consent letter, download LOA, upload consent letter under the publication menu and submit your final article. So this is the deadline and what to do after receiving recommended journals from email. Next, conference paper proceeding for big data, industrial design, information technology, ergonomics, operation research, and so on, can be accessed through this link, proceeding.researchsynergypress.com. Okay. And on the other hand, for RSF for the technology and innovation management, knowledge management, entrepreneurship, so on and so forth, can be accessed via this link. I will help I will help you by copying this link later on the chat box. So please aware on our chat box. So in addition, author requires to revise approximately 80% of submitted conference paper to avoid self-plagiarism. Because the full paper or the extended one will undergo the second round of scientific review process to determine your journal recommendations for publication. All accepted papers have the opportunity to be published in reputable journal, international journal index such by Scopus, DOAG, Copernicus, Google Scholar, and Dimensions, with of course applied terms and conditions. And for now, I would like to invite maybe one of our participants here. Perhaps I can see Dr. Magdalena camera is still on, so I would like to invite Dr. Magdalena to give her testimonials regarding our event, please.
Hi.
Yeah,
My
hi.
name is Rihanna. I really enjoyed today's presentation and to listen and learn from other researchers of the update of technology in industrial engineering. And I would also like to send my highest appreciation to the organizer by the Maranatha Christian University, also for the Research Synergy RSF committee for making such a good conference for us to get together and understand more about the updates in the new trend and research of IE and also management. Thank you very much. I really had a great time with Dr. Chung. And how?
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Rihanna, for your testimonials. The purpose of this testimonials is we hope that in the future we can encourage another academicians, another scholars to join us in a more other scientific events. So thank you for that. I think that's all. Don't forget to fill the feedback form and the what is it? Okay, here it is. If you look at the chat box, you can see the link for the attendance form and the feedback form. So please don't forget to fill that. And now we will have a short break until 15:35 Indonesian time, where I see you all in the main room. There will be a awarding ceremony for best presentations, session chair session, and closing speech by Ms. Christina, STMT, Head of Bachelor Program in Industrial Engineering, Universitas Kristen, Maranatha, Indonesia. After that, also we will have the closing ceremony. And once again, please kindly check your schedule at the conference program that committee sent you before. And to close the sessions, on behalf of the International Conference on Industrial and System Engineering, Technology, Innovation, and Management, ICISETIM, hosted by Maranatha Christian University and Research Synergy Foundations, co-organized by the Salle University, Petra Christian University, and Chung Yuan Christian University, supported by ScholarVen Research Synergy Institute, Reviewer Track RSF Press F1000 Research, and Taylor and Francis Group. I would like to thank you for your kind attention and see you again at the main room. Good morning, everyone. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone, and see you later. Goodbye.
Thank you all. See you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you all.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.